Okay, so thanks to one and all who have already made it to this webinar. My name is Lohit GN. So this is a series of webinars that we have been doing in Telerik India, targeting the APAC regions. We have been trying to cover all our technologies, focus on a very specific aspect, and then try to do a 1-hour presentation on that. Today we're going to be looking at how do you develop a modern UI, or how do you build a modern UI in your web applications using Telerik RadTileList. So this is the webinar topic. As you see on the screen, today's session will be recorded and available 24/7 on TelerikHelper.net. If you want to know more about Telerik, you can go to facebook.com/Telerik. You can follow Telerik on Twitter at @Telerik. The website for Telerik is www.telerik.com. A little bit of introduction about myself. Who am I? My name is Lohit GN. I'm a Microsoft MVP and an MCP. I work as developer evangelist with Telerik. Officially my ID is lohit.nagaraj@telerik.com. If you are on Twitter and you want to grab me on Twitter, so you can tweet to me at handle Kashyapa. It's my Twitter handle. I have my own blog. It's kashyapas.com, and then I keep writing about Telerik things at TelerikHelper.net. I think I was just notified that I hadn't shared my screen. Sorry about that. So now I'm sharing my screen. I think I didn't start my screen. So thank you, Abhishek, for letting me know that. So those of you who just heard my voice, so it's this is me, Lohit GN. I work in Telerik as developer evangelist. These are my coordinates. I don't want to repeat it again. So let's move forward. So this is the roadmap for today. For those of you who are joined in, simple stuff, 60 minutes, and we'll try to make the most in the demos. We're going to be looking at what exactly is the term called modern UI. So what is it? If you have heard, if you're coming from a Windows 8 background or a Windows Phone background, you may be familiar with that. But this thing from a Windows 8, which is a core operating system, or a Windows Phone, which is again another mobile platform, how does it how does it map together to the UI? So we're going to be looking at that particular aspect of what is modern UI, and then how we can adapt it to even the web applications too. Quickly, I'll try to brief you about what exactly is our RadControls. This is the suite of controls we have for ASP.NET AJAX, and today we're going to be looking at RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX. And then we focus a little bit on the the control of the day, which is RadTileList, and then of course we end it with a demo. So without much further ado, let's get started. So modern UI webinar giveaway. 2 attendees will receive the .NET Ninja T-shirt. Winner will be announced at TelerikHelper.net in a blog post. So this is a T-shirt, so you can actually go and then tell your colleagues that you are a .NET Ninja now. Hello, if somebody is not muted, can you please mute yourself?
Yes, for you guys.
Some of you who have your microphone on, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. So let's move forward. So this is the webinar giveaway. So now let's start with the first one, which is modern UI. So what exactly is modern UI, right? So I hope everybody is familiar with this. Let me know if you have seen this particular screen somewhere. Go ahead and then maybe say it in the Q&A panel or whatever, in the chat window or wherever. Basically this is nothing but the Windows 8 operating system. This is the home screen, or we call it the start screen. So what strikes you for the first is it's very plain, simple. Yeah. So there you go. Windows 9. It's not Windows 9. It's Windows 8. Maybe that's a typo for some of you. So some of you are saying this is Windows 8 with this Windows 8 tiles. Absolutely right. This is a new operating system that Microsoft came out, and then what you see there is a concept of tiling. not only that, if you see the tile, there are some of the things in the tile itself. There is a icon, there is a text, and even the text is what we call as typography, meaning the text is very subtle. It's not too much. It's very subtle, and then it doesn't strike you too much. And of course, use of the colors, the varying colors, the varying sizes of the tiles, all these things make up Windows 8 home screen, which is kind of looks pretty neat. It just flows with your screen. So this is pretty much what we call as modern UI. Basically, it was codenamed as Metro, but Microsoft had to drop the name called Metro due to some litigation. But we're not going to get into all this stuff. All I wanted to do was I wanted to just touch upon what is modern UI. So this is modern UI. So there are 4 tenets. I call as 4 tenets to modern UI, and they are our design philosophy, as we call it. So they are modern and clean. So I have been bored looking at the same hill that Windows XP was having. Windows 7 at least was a refreshing look, but Windows XP, remember the famous hill that somebody took a photograph, and then XP made that as a background, and then that's where we come from. And even the Windows 7 was a refreshing look, but the background, the desktop background is still kind of thing. But this is modern, and then this is clean. There is nothing, we call it as Chrome, so there is nothing like that. This is basically clean. Of course, there is a concept called as fast and fluid. Basically, if you have opened up the Windows 8 OS, you should open this up. You should actually try Windows 8 on a touch-based tablet, and then try to swipe your fingers, and then you'll see it is very fluid, it's very fast. So that's what modern UI is all about: modern, clean, fast, fluid, and content, not Chrome. If you have ever looked at any Windows 8 based apps or Windows Phone based apps, they don't have Chrome. When I say Chrome, let me just quickly show you what I mean by that. I hope everybody knows the browser, right? So basically, now I'm showing you a browser. If I open up a browser, what you see on the top, and then this small 10 pixel on the left, 10 pixel on the right, and then 10 pixel on the bottom, and then of course this top, whatever you see, the header, the place where you have the minimize, maximize, close button, this is known as the Chrome or the border. Where is your content? The content is inside, but sometimes you can see if you have launched any Windows-based application, you'll see this border is thicker. It's nearly 10 to 15 px. So that's what we have used to the traditional things. But the modern UI talks about content, not Chrome. So there is no border at all when you look at a Windows 8 or a Windows Phone-based application. So that's one of the tenets or design philosophies of modern UI. Of course, typography. Let me go back, and then we'll just quickly look at the text that you see on this particular screen now. Just take a look at the text which says alarms, or just take a look at the which says stocks or news. They are very subtle, and then it's a very specific font. It's Sego UI. So that's the specific font that modern UI uses. Of course, this is I'm just trying to give you the design philosophies. There are 4 design philosophies: modern, clean, fast, fluid, content, not Chrome, and then typography. This is what makes the modern UI, or this is the design philosophy for the modern UI. That's fine. So now let's quickly take a look at, so that's, I just wanted to give you, or just wanted to set the context of, what do we mean by modern UI. So these are the tenets, these are the philosophy. Now before I jump into how you can achieve this in ASP.NET AJAX, just a quick, kind of brief introduction to what exactly is our suite for ASP.NET AJAX. We call it as RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX. If many of you might have been already using this or might have already heard about this, but for the benefit of those who have never heard this, so let's take a quick look at what exactly is this suite. It's basically a developer suite, development tool set. 70 ASP.NET AJAX control helps you in rapid UI development. We pretty much have all the controls that you can think of. We try very hard to keep it minimal in terms of the HTML and CSS. We try to give you a minimal and clean HTML. We try to minimize JavaScript as far as possible. We are going towards the HTML5 way. Wherever we can use the data dash attributes, we are trying to make use of that. We are trying to see if we can reduce postbacks, meaning not the full page postbacks. So we give you the AJAX manager concept where you can actually tell the manager, hey, this particular control may fire a postback. So I want you to handle that and then do a partial postback. We do compress all our data that gets transferred for the control per se. For example, if you have a grid and then grid does a paging or a grid does a sorting, so it does a partial postback, but the data is compressed. You can actually set, like, do you need to use the compression module or not. We do give you a built-in CDN support. If you are a licensee of RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX, what you can do is you may not want to use the the files on the disk. For example, we use a lot of JavaScripts in the background and a lot of style sheets in the background. So if you don't like to actually use it from the the physical disk, what you can do is, if you're a licensee, we take all the cost for the CDN, so you just have to use the built-in. You can just enable the built-in CDN support on the controls, and then they will use the CDN. So it's never, CDNs are supposed to be faster because they cache things, and then depending on the CDN location, it's going to be faster when depending on where the user is coming from. Wherever we can, we use CSS sprites, meaning we don't download too many of the images. Rather, we download one, it is a sprite, and then we pretty much use CDN, means content delivery network. It's kind of a mechanism wherein you cache your content, and then it's edge located, and then it pretty much becomes faster when somebody comes from a particular location. So CSS sprites, we use CSS sprites to improve the download of the images and all the stuff. We cut down too many image downloads with just one image download, and then we play with the sprite. What's included were over 70 feature-rich controls. This slide doesn't fit everything, so I just pasted a portion of our controls. If you just head over to Telerik.com and the ASP.NET AJAX product page, you will see all the 70 controls. If you head over to demos.telerik.com and then ASP.NET AJAX, you will see all these 70 controls in action. So now, having given a brief introduction about the what exactly is the RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX, now it's the high time. So we'll look at how do we achieve modern UI in ASP.NET AJAX applications. So we have a control called as RadTileList. This provides you a Windows 8 style navigation. That's what I showed you. Like in Windows 8, you have pretty much tiles, and then you just swipe left and right and it's a continuous canvas where the tiles are available, and then you just pretty much keep swiping to your right, and then the tiles keep coming in depending on how much tiles you have or how many applications you have installed in your Windows 8. So we give you the same Windows 8 style navigation. We give you different tile types and then shapes. Basically, there are 2 shapes, and then there are around 5 tile types. We'll take a look at all of them. And then also we provide you a title and a badge support. So title is nothing but what comes on the bottom of the tile, and then badge is nothing but on the right-hand side of the right-hand corner, bottom corner of the tile, we can show a count. So that's known as a badge. So it's usually like, if you look at Windows 8 mail icon on the home screen, it will actually show you how many messages are there. Or if you see a Facebook, any app, they will usually show a counter. So that's kind of an additional information the tile can pretty much provide you. So we give you the same title and badge support. We give the animations can be automated, saying like, hey, I want the animation to be shown at, let's say, every 2 seconds. It should be open for so and so time. It should be closing at so and so seconds. So we give you that. We have a concept of peak templates. This is nothing but if you have looked at Windows 8 or Windows Phone applications, some of the tiles they do a little bit extra, meaning you may have an image and suddenly something comes on top of that. The image slides up and then a text comes back. So that's known as a peak template. So we give you the peak templates, and then you can pretty much put any content in that. And then the peak template there will be settings for peak templates where you can say, hey, I want this to be shown at this, should the peak template should be shown on mouse over or should be not shown on mouse over. All these settings are available. We call it as peak template settings. Just to take a look at some of the features, these are the various tile types we provide you. First one is a content template tile. As you can see, you can put any content there. Of course, the width, we'll see what is the width and height of this particular tiles. So you get a height of 105 pixel and then a width of 310 pixels. So pretty much within that, whatever content you want to place, you can place like HTML or a server control, whatever. It's a content, so you can place any content that you want. That's why we call it as content template tile. and we have image and text style. What in this, what happens is, you see the top, the second one I'm talking about, the picture where there's a swimmer swimming in the swimming pool. So that swimmer's image is the is the image portion of the tile, and then bottom you see the text portion, and even this we call it as a title text. And then the text itself can have a image, small image. As you can see there, we have a logo of a cup. So pretty much this is what image and text style will provide you. Image style, no title will be provided. Rather, if you have any image that you want to place on the tile itself, you can actually just place it. So that's it, the title won't be visible, but what you see here is like, we have actually written something on the image, so it's part of the image, so that's being shown as is. And then we support icon tile. Icon can be any icon, so you just want to place some icon, then have a title text, yeah, you can do that. So that's what you see there, the fourth one. Fifth one is a text style. The text style, what it does is, as the name says, it's pretty much completely text. So there's a question asking, like, do you support HTML5? Yeah, we do support HTML5. The tiles themselves, they are not table TR or TDs. Rather, these are basically the very well done div kind of a output. So it's pretty much gonna work everywhere. It's not a TR TD output that we do. We do a little bit of intelligence there, meaning we don't do that. These are as lightweight as possible. No tables are used, and the whatever title elements that you see here, these are all H6 or H1, H2, H3. We use pretty much those kind of things. So the image themselves, as you can see, if you are using image style, you can have an image width of 310 by 150. But if you are using image and text, since the text needs to be shown on the bottom, you need to have a width of 310 and 105 pixel. So next we'll look at the size that we provide. So this is what it is. We provide you two tile sizes, wide and then the square. So in the wide, what happens is it's a 310 by 150 pixel, that is 310 in width, 150 in height, and then the square is 150 by 150. Now, with both of these, if you, let's say you're having a wide tile and then you want to use image and text tile capability, since the title needs to be shown in the bottom, so it's going to use around 45 pixel. So the image that you place should be 310 by 105. Then it neatly sits on top. For example, if you see now the image where image and text style is there, the swimmer image is there, so it's 105 in height, and then the 45 pixel is taken by the text itself. You can of course set a different background color, all those things. So that's the difference between the tile sizes. So we have a square and then a wide, and then we provide you the tile elements, meaning if you have a tile, we provide you a concept of title, and then we provide a concept of badge. So you can actually create a title for the tile, and then you can create a badge for the tile. So badge is usually, normally we just show a counter. It's like number of males, or number of in this case we are showing, like, the grid example contains 23 demos or something like that. So this is known as a tile element. Now that's all, the theoretical portion for this. What we will do is we'll start jumping into the demos. In the interest of the time, what I have done is I've already created a application. So I'll just try to show you basically. Let me just remove all the other things. Close all but this, pin this, start page. I like to have my start page, coming up there. I want that there. So what I've done already is basically I've gone ahead. If you install RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX, we provide you extension, the project project templates within Visual Studio 2008, 10, 12, and then of course we are now coming on 13 too. So now what happens is you will get a template installed for Telerik, and then you'll have a the node called web. So you can use C# RadControls web application or VB RadControls web application, depending on the language that you are working with. We support both C# and VB. So this is the Telerik web template, and then I have a C# RadControls for web application. So what it does is, when you create a project like this, it goes ahead and then wires up all the things that we require. Basically, we need telerik.web.ui.dll, telerik.web.ui.skins.dll, And then if you look at the web.config, there's a question. It says whether tiles can be customized to various sizes. No, we support only 2 tile sizes. It's 310 by 150 or 150 by 150. So basically, we are going with whatever the modern UI specifications are. There's only 2 tile sizes that you can have. It's either the wide one or the square one. So that's what I showed in the slide. So you can have only these 2, wide or a square. So that's what all the modern UI philosophy is all about. There cannot be any tile sizes other than this. It looks pretty neat, 310 by 150 looks very good. Again, many people are asking for, can tiles be resized? No, the tiles are only 2 sizes, 310 by 150, 150 by 150. That's the design philosophy that modern UI brings in, that you got to be either of these 2. You can use square ones for any of these things. And then small things that you are seeing here, list view, it has 8 examples or something. The white tiles can be used for any photographic thing. So let's come back to the code. So what the project does is it goes ahead and then adds all this little things that we need. For example, I talked about CDN. Should the script manager use the CDN? Should the style manager should use the CDN? And then of course we need all the handlers. We do have this compression module, so I'm actually adding the compression module here, and then all the handlers. So if you don't create the project this way, and if you have installed the RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX from Telerik, you can just right click on any of the web applications, and then you will pretty much see this. You will see this particular menu item which says RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX, and then you can right click and say convert this project into Telerik RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX project. So you don't see that now because this is a Telerik RadControls project. So you see configure project, upgrade project, add RadControl scenario, add RadGrid scenario, and all these things. So these are cool things. You want to add a RadGrid, all you need to do is just right click and say add RadGrid scenario. That's it. It's going to give you a lot of stuff to play around, and then without any code, it just writes a bare bone RadGrid code. So now let's come back to this demo that we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and then add a Telerik scenario, and then I'm going to call it as default. So what it's asking me is, okay, so this is the thing that I was talking about. You don't have to do a lot of things. If you want to place a scheduler, you can just select a Rad scheduler scenario, and look at this. We give you a default advanced form template, custom edit templates, web service with custom provider, XML provider. So this is going to create the web page for you without writing anything. For example, RadGrid scenario. We have a lot of RadGrid scenario, automatic CRUD operations, client-side export, server-side export. So you just have to click this and say, hey, I want this scenario now. So it will go ahead and create the web forms like that. So for this example, I need a bare bone, a web form. So I'm going to say I need a Telerik web form, and then it gives me a little option thing. So I'm going to say, hey, this is a default page. The language is C#. I want you to use the default skin, CDN settings, style sheet manager settings. Everything use default. Use the Rad AJAX jQuery registration. Yes. So I'm going to say finish. Now what I'm going to get is an empty page. So now we're going to start at one by one the different tiles that we had. What we'll do is I'm going to just start coding, and then of course you don't want to see me typing, so I have my code templates already available. So I'll just start pasting them. So I'll just say RadTileList demo. Okay, now what you get is Rad Script Manager. This is required. We have all the jQuery things in the web forms. This is how you reference a script. You put it in your assembly, and then you just say, hey, script reference in this assembly. This is the file. So that's what we do. We give you AJAX Manager. In this case, I don't have any postback. So what I will do is I'll start with kind of pretty much doing things. I'm a hardcore coder, meaning I just normally type it out. People ask me why, because I feel it is faster for me to just type it out. You can see this. Otherwise, there's one more way to use this. That is, just go to Toolbox, search for RadTileList. You will see, I get the toolbox showing me the RadTileList. Now I can just drag and drop, right? And Visual Studio just auto-completes everything. So it just says, okay, Telerik RadTileList, ID is this, run at server. So that's all I need. And here's another cool thing that I'll show you. From Visual Studio 2012, the smart tags are available even in the ASPX pages. Remember, in older versions, if you want to get a smart tag, you had to go to designer surface and then pretty much pick up the smart tag. But now, the smart tag is available, as you can see, from the ASPX page, which is the design, which is the code page. I'm able to get this. So pretty much I can click on this format element or all those things. Let me get the smart tag. It's a little tricky because I have our code completion tool called Just Code, which I've installed. So pretty much you can change all this. I'll show you a neat little thing here. This is what we give you, visual confirmation as to how this looks in different the themes. As you can see here, we have close to 14 to 15 themes, and then we just show how this particular RadTileList will look in different themes. I'm going to leave it default. I have selected, I believe, some skin. We can take a look at it. So now we have the RadTileList. What we need to do first, we need to first say, hey, it supports a groups thing. So we just have to go and then say groups. Let me see if my presentation is on. Okay, it's already in presentation mode. I don't know if you guys can see. So let me increase my. Okay, this is perfect. So I hope everybody can see this now. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to talk a little bit about the rad content template tile. So now once you created the group, what you need to do is, as you can see, we give you all the IntelliSense. So IntelliSense just comes up and says, hey, you can create only Telerik tile group here. Yes, okay, I'm going to create a Telerik tile group. Okay, now the question may be, why a Telerik tile group? Remember, let me go back to my PPT. And then I'll quickly show you the Windows 8 screen. Windows 8 supports different groups in the tile section. So that's what we are trying to give. So let's go back to where my Windows 8 was. As you can see here, there is a small gap here between this section, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and then the 5th column, there is a slight gap in between them. So that is groupings. These left-hand side 4 columns are one group. The right-hand side, what you see, 4 rows is a different group. So Mr. Kunal Shekhar, yes, we will try to answer you. Basically, as I said, please log all your questions. My team is standing by, so they will try to answer one by one whatever they can. Otherwise, at the end of the presentation, I'll keep 10 minutes for this Q&A, and then I'll try to answer you at that point of time. Thank you. So now this is the tile group. So now let's go back to the code. So this is what the tile group is all about. This is why you need this particular tile group. And then now what I can do is, I can actually say, okay, what is the tile I need? So I can say, as you can see here, we give you rad content template tile, rad icon tile, rad image and text tile, rad image tile, rad text tile. So let's quickly take a look at this. So I'm going to just name this as maybe first tile. And then you need to tell what is the shape of this tile. Do you want it wide or do you want it square? So let me create a wide one first. So once we have set that, now we have capability to set the title. So I will say this title, text of the title is first tile. And then let's for the sake of demo, we'll also create badge. Let's say, okay, let me say this is Hotmail. And then in the badge, what I will do is I have, let's say, 25 emails, unread or whatever it is. Now, the content template. So this is where you will put the content. So what I can do is I can pretty much come back here and then say mails from Hotmail account. Okay. I can do BR and whatever, I can actually keep ASP colon label. We need to say runner is equal to, we'll say runner is equal to server, and I'll just give a sample text. Let's say So I'll just put something for the demo's sake. So this is what it is. So now the content has been created. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just build it, and I already have. So let's see what happens. So we should see a blank page with one tile coming up there. So this is the first time I'm running. So let's see. So the page is coming up. So there you go. So we have created our first tile. So as you can see, I have placed some content there. It says mails from Hotmail account, lohitgn@outlook.com. So this is the thing which says Hotmail, and then 25 is the count that we provided. So now, as you can see, if you have already played around with Windows 8, you will know that when I right click on the tile, it gets selected. So that's how, or if you are doing a touch on the tablets or anything on a Windows 8, so it will get selected. If you're using mouse, you need to do a right click on the tile that gets selected. But I don't see the selection happening now. So let's see what we need to do for that. It's simple. Just go onto the Telerik RadTileList and say selection mode equals, I can actually say, should I allow selection, should I not allow selection, and then can I allow multiple selection or single. So I will say single. So now let's come back and then refresh. So there you go. Can you, I don't know if you guys can see this. So let me bring my zoomer. I always forget to start it out. Zoom it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, you see this? You see this little check marks? This is nothing but pretty similar to what the Windows 8 tile will give you. I right clicked on the tile, so it says, hey, this tile is selected. So that's the kind of things. Let's say I don't like the back color that's coming up there. So what we can do is we can come back to the tile, and then now on the tile itself, we can say, hey, I want a back color, and I want this to be dark green. Okay, so now if you see, what happens is the whole tile will be dark green in color. Okay, so I can check this, so you can see this. Okay, let's say the content template, I want to do something. I don't like content template coming in green, and then I want to set certain things. You can do that. So since this is a content, I can just wrap this up in a div. Sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapping the content in a div, and then I'm just going to write an inline style. This is a demo sake, so you should always create a CSS file and then use it. So just to prove a point, I can pretty much come back here and then say, hey, you know what, I want my background color here to be dark orange, and I want the font size to be, let's say, 12 point. I don't know how much that will be, and then I will say font family. Again, all the font settings, everything should be in your style sheets or whatever. So I'm going to use Segoy UI. So Segoy is the kind of modern font. Of course, you can use any font types, for example. So as you can see here, I was able to get the kind of thing. So only thing that is left out is we should say, hey, I want the height to be 75 pixel. And I'm okay with the width. So you can play around like this. So I don't want to spend too much time here. So as you can see, I can just go back here and then set it to maybe 100 or 105. Come back here, and then if you see, it will give you a completely different look. Can you see this? So so let's maybe here, instead of this, we'll say dark violet or whatever. I'm very bad at color, so don't worry about that. So I'm just trying to prove a point. So as you can see now, I'm able to kind of completely change how my tile should look like. So you get all the flexibility. You can even come back here and then say, you know what, I want padding to be 10 pixel. Font size, if you want, you can actually increase it to 15 points. If you want to make it bold, you can make it bold. So now you can see that you will see that the font will increase, and then it's a neatly placed 10 pixel all around. So so this is what pretty much it gives you all the flexibilities. Now let's quickly take a look at maybe one more, and then I want to show cool things that I want to pretty much do. Let me take, this is interesting. So let me take this image and text tile. So now I'm going to just go ahead and then add one more tile to this. So we finished one tile. So now I'm going to add one more tile, and this tile will be image and text. Okay. So only thing that this needs is, again, I need to tell what is the shape of this. I'm going to again use the wide one, and then maybe I will say back color is dark magenta or something. Just I'm very bad at color, so don't worry about that. So I want to prove a point here about how you can play around with the image, all the stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up an image. I already have a couple of images in my thing, so I'm going to say spotlight. So let's see what happens now with this much. Okay, we'll see one more coming up. So there you go. What you saw there was, I have created an image which is 310 pixel in width and 105 pixel in height. So now I've set that image text style, and then I've given the image URL. You can see it's placed on top. Now let's do some interesting stuffs here. So I want to provide the title here. So the title text, what I will do is I'll just say community spotlight. Okay, so now let me come back and then refresh it. You will see, like, the title comes up, pretty much similar to what we did last time. Now we're going to do an interesting thing. I talked about a peak template. So let's provide a peak template for this. In the peak template, what I'm going to do is, so as you can see, the peak template will be is a child of rad image and text tile. So I'm going to say peak template, and I'm going to just copy the same div that I had, and then instead of the dark violet, I'm going to say maybe dark blue, and then same padding and everything, and then this is the limelight for community folks. Some text that I'm writing. Okay, now I added the peak template. Let's see what's the effect of this peak template. Keep looking for the second tile. We have a timer set, like, with its own with a default timing, like, it will just go ahead and then change the peak template. So peak template means, I have an image. Did you see this? This says this is the limelight for community folks. So what happened was it peaked. We showed the peak template above the image. Now the image comes back. You can see that, slowly on your screen. Yeah, now the image came back. So this is what the peak template is all about. What if I want this peak template to come when I do a mouse over? So currently it's not doing that. So what we can do is we can pretty much come back and then do a peak template settings. So for the peak template settings, what we should do is we can actually put a simple peak template setting. So I'm going to just say peak template settings. So first thing is animation that I want to show. So we have a couple of, 3 animations: fade, resize, and slide. So let's take the slide one, meaning the peak template will slide, and then I want to show the interval is, I want it to be shown every 3 seconds. And I also want, show peak template on mouse over. Yes, I want to show, I want the peak template to be shown when I mouse over, and then hide it when mouse out. Yes, I want this to be hidden when mouse out. And then of course you can actually set the close delay, meaning how much time should it show and then close. So I will say, okay, open it for 2 seconds and then close it out. So that's the peak settings, peak template settings that I have. Now I'm going to go ahead and then do that. So you will see, like, initially the image is coming up. So now you see that the page refreshed image is coming up. Did you see that? It is automatically opening and then closing now for every, I said, every 2 seconds you show that. Now, when I do the mouse over, look at this. When I do the mouse over, it's pretty much, changing the peak template. So that is because I said, hey, on show peak template on mouse over true, hide peak template on mouse over true. So similarly, pretty much you can do a lot of things with that. If you actually go to our here is what we have. This is a demo that we have at our demo site. Basically, this outlines everything that we have in our portfolio. As you can see here, dev tools, the blogs, forums, the ASP.NET AJAX video tutorial, documentation, grid, list view, combo box, pivot grid tree view, drop down list, image editor. You can see this here. So this is the peak template coming into picture now. Similarly, here is a peak template here on the gauge. So this is what the modern UI things is all about. So now I'm going to show you a real world example that I built for the sake of the demo. I'm a big fan of www.asp.net website. I keep going every day in order to take a look at something. Some of the time my articles have come here in the daily community spotlight too. So that's kind of a cool thing. So what this site does is they have this URL. They have a section known as community. So in this, when you go here, you see a lot of little sections here, daily spotlight, articles of the day, news, community blogs, Microsoft blogs, events, Twitter, community, yesterday's top movers, the MSDN samples, NuGet, most popular package, forums, recent activity, forums, unanswered threads. So these are different sections. Now, how cool will it be if we create a Windows 8 kind of a modern UI for a web application? So I went ahead and then created what I call as ASP.NET portal community portal. So that's what you see here. It's the same sections that I have, but take a look at what I've done. I've completely transformed the web page to look like a modern UI. What you see here in the background is actually, this is a tip for anybody else. So there is a site known as Subtle Pattern. So I keep going here. It's known as subtlepatterns.com. So this gives you a lot of tremendous the background images. So all I did was I picked up one background image and then I put it as a background of this particular page. If you see here, the black one, these are all actually a flower. I've zoomed in now, so you can see this is actually a black, dark, flower kind of thing. So if you have taken any, if you looked at any time the Windows 8 stuff, so you will see Windows 8 gives you a lot of options for the background. So I did the same thing. I just went ahead, put the background, and this is Sego UI. I looked at Windows 8 modern UI design philosophy guidelines, and then they say page header should be set to 40 point. But when I did a 40 point, it was looking too big, so I just put it to 20 point, which is a subheader, guidelines. And then not only that, just take a look at this. I'm converted each section that are there into pretty much two tile groups. So this is the same section that you see. The gap that we saw in the Windows 8 image. Similarly, I've done the same thing. Basically, I just transformed, went to the Bing. Bing some images. Of course, these are all Creative Commons images, articles for the day. Here's the image and here's the title text. I'm just trying to say that there are 10 articles here for the community spotlight. And when I mouse over, you see the peak template coming in. When I mouse out, the peak template goes out. And then again, the top news, I've kind of completely changed, provided background colors, provided different animations. So what you see here is a slide. What you see here in the community news is a fade. And what you see here is a resize. Take a look at the NuGet most popular thing. It is actually resizing. So different options are available. So now another thing, interesting thing is, as I said, what does it do? This tile, is it dead tiles? No. Basically in Windows 8, if you remember, when you go ahead and then click on any tiles, it navigates you to that particular application. Similarly, we have done the same thing. Now, here's the thing. When I click on Community Spotlight, see what happens. It went to spotlight.aspx, meaning I'm just going to another page. So that's what the modern UI feel for your page. Gone are the days where we have to have a menu. Of course, it makes sense where you should have the menus, but take a look at what I've done now. The completely transformed. If I put these two things side by side, so this is what I have, right? So look at this. This is another interesting feature that we have. We automatically know what is the size of the available screen width, and then we give you the scroll bar. It's pretty much similar to what Windows 8 does, right? I have stacked one another next to each other. Left hand side is my portal, right hand side is the ASP.NET portal, and then pretty much if you see here, I get a scroll bar. This is what you get even in Windows 8. So you don't have to worry. We do all the things in the background. All you need to do is just stack out your pretty much the tiles that you need, and then that's all done. So now let me zoom it out, do the full-blown thing. So that's pretty much what I had in mind. All I've played around is different colors for different tiles. So if you want to take a look at the code itself, let me show you the code. So that's portal.aspx. So this is our another interesting tool that we have called as just code. As you can see, control AG, I can go to any files, and then quickly it just takes me there, and then I can do a lot of things with just code. If you're interested, go ahead and then download and then use it. So here is the code. I created a group. Within the group, I've added pretty much the navigate URL, the image URL, back color. Here's the peak template settings. That's all. It takes literally a couple of minutes just to set up your home page with all the the tiles, and then all you need to do is just say, hey, I want you to navigate to this particular URL. So you will have plenty of n number of pages in your application. So just give that. So and then you get this cool looking thing. Not only that, look at this. I've used the Windows 8 theme, the Metro theme. We are still in the middle of renaming the theme names, but as you can see here, I'm having this selection thing going on. Not only that, if user wants to rearrange, yes, he can do it. Can you see this? I'm able to rearrange stuff from here and there. I can just do a lot of stuff. We have a persistent framework, so what you can do is you can pretty much take a look at how the user has placed this tiles, and then you can come back and then you can rearrange, do all those stuff. So, but we give you all those capabilities, so that's what I'm trying to say. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can create, or how you can change your, ASP.NET web application to look modern. So now I'm pretty much done. That's all I had for the demo. So if I run to the last, so it's got time now. So as I said, I still have a minute, so I'll pretty much take this thing. So RadTileList in action, that's what we did. So you can download, many of you are asking where can we get this. So all you need to do is download RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX at telerik.com/products/ASP.NET-AJAX.aspx. And this is my email ID and then Twitter. So now I'm going to start looking at the question and answers. So let me come back from the bottom. Yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, the RadTileList is still in beta state. We want you to, kind of play around with this and let us know if you have any problems or anything. It's gonna be mostly coming out of beta in the next release that we're gonna do. Yeah, currently, Maxwell, you're asking a question, once tiles are rearranged, whether this can be persist or reset after page refresh. Currently, in this demo, I have not done that, but you can pretty much, we have a very rich server-side API. So what you can do is you can actually come to know what is the state of the, how is the tiles arranged, persist that, and then when next time when you're coming back, you can actually, from the client side, program completely, whatever I showed you here. This is declarative coding, but you can do programmatic things. So programmatic thing too. So you can actually, depending on your data that is stored or persisted, you can start putting the tiles, create a group, or all those things. So you can pretty much do all those things. Somebody is asking for, I want to rearrange tiles in only my group. Yeah, you can do that. So take a look at this. I can actually rearrange anywhere. It can go from group 1 to group 2, or within the group it can rearrange. So that's not a problem. Ishwar Karki, you're asking when will the RadTileList release? It is already released. As I said, this is in the beta stage. So basically, what we mean by beta stage is we are almost there, but we still have a couple of things to polish out. So that's what the beta stage means. But we would really be glad if you guys can test this out and then try this out and then tell us, hey, this is a problem that I'm having, or this doesn't work in my scenario. So we'll be glad to hear back from you and then take it back to my product team, and then kind of we work it out from there. Prakash Patil, you're asking, can I use RadTileList control in SharePoint 2010-2013 application? Basically, all our controls, ASP.NET AJAX controls can be used in custom web parts. But when you're creating a web part, you got to make sure it's not a sandboxed web part, because the sandboxed web part will not allow you to actually ping outside of your domain or it won't allow you to go out of the web part to download the style sheets or script files, because these in the background use a couple of style sheets, couple of scripts in the background. So if you are creating custom web part and you have the capability to actually do all this stuff, yes, it's going to work as is. Prem Anant, you're asking for how to resize the tile as in Windows 8 using a RadControls. Yeah, at the moment we don't have the resize capability, meaning if you have placed a wide tile, you cannot resize it to a square tile or square to a wide. At this moment we don't support that. Shashank, you're asking for change in rearrange. Will it affect any effect on control? I don't seem to understand your question. Maybe you want to do that. The demo available in Telerik? Yes, the demo is available in Telerik. All you need to do is go to demos.telerik.com, ASP.NET AJAX. So if you go to demos.telerik.com, you will pretty much get a link to ASP.NET AJAX. Here's another interesting demo that we have. This is basically, let's say you are on a tablet in a some restaurant, and then they can use this. Look at this. This is actually a tile list. Do you see this thing? If I right click, look at the right hand side, check out. I'm pretty much looking at what is selected, and then I'm building my basket. I can pretty much select it. So these demos are available online. You can pretty much take a look at it. This is like online food store. You can pretty much right click and then select them. If you're on a tablet, if you click that, it's going to understand the touch. Balamurgan, again, I'm repeating again and again, the philosophy of modern UI is not to resize, rather have two sizes, that is square and then the wide. Wide is 310 by 150, square is 150 by 150. That's all. I mean, that is what the modern UI design philosophy talks about. Ishwar Karki, you're asking for, can we use this in ASP.NET MVC? At the moment, no. This is a web form control. But having said that, we already have something for ASP.NET MVC, and that is known as Kendo UI. Kendo UI has a pretty cool widgets. You should take a look at all these widgets and then see what fits your particular location. Let me see what we have. So we have something known as effects. In the effects, we give you this, fade, all those things. So you click on that, it fades, and then we have the slide in, all these things. So let me see, where is that, our flip? So you see this, all these are available already in ASP.NET MVC. We call it as Kendo UI. Kothai Naiki Krishnamurti, you are saying you have Q1 of 2013. Yeah, this got released in Q2 2013. So what you need to do is just go and then download the Q2 trial, or if you are licensed, just upgrade yourselves to Q2. 2013. So that's where you will get the RadTileList. That's one of the newest control that we released in Q2. Abhay Pratap Singh, you're saying you missed the session. Don't worry, this is recorded. I'm recording this particular video just as a housekeeping thing. This webinar will be having a recap blog post that I will be writing, and it will be hosted on TelerikHelper.net. All you need to do is just come back to TelerikHelper.net next week, and then you will pretty much have a blog post which will have my slide deck and my video, everything. Documentation available for Telerik RadList, absolutely. What you can do is just go to telerik.com/help, and then We have an ASP.NET AJAX help site, which is pretty much similar to MSDN. Everything that you need to know is completely available here. As you can see, I'm in the RadTileList documentation. So as you can see, RadTileList for ASP.NET AJAX, and then we provide you completely everything. What you need to do, client-side programming, server-side programming, all the documentation is here. The first thing that I do whenever I have to do something is check out the documentation, look at the API, what are the properties, what are the methods, and then that's it. And then I know, okay, what needs to be done. Prem Anant, you're asking for text flow. I mean, that's something that you would have to do it. You need to know. But as I said, the tile has only 100 pixel in height or 150 pixel in height because the 45 pixel will be taken by the title. The content gets around 105 pixel of width. So again, the design philosophy of a modern UI is you should not be pumping in too many things here. These tiles are not meant for 5 lines or 10 lines of instructions to be there. These are just a one-liner. As you can see, we have only 2 lines or 3 lines of text that are coming in. Not only that, take a look at this particular, it's very minimal. That's what it's all about: fast, clean, fluid content, not the chrome. That's the main philosophy of the tile. Somebody is asking for how to generate CSS sprite with Telerik RadControl. The CSS sprite has got nothing to do with Telerik RadControl. Basically, for example, let's say you're looking at this grid image, list view image, tree view image, and then pivot grid image, and then if you don't want to create 4 images for these things, what you should do is create a sprite, and then in this, you need to then make sure that you're using a content tile, because these are icon tiles. So icon tiles will need a specific icon image file. So then you will need to have a specific icon. Otherwise, what you should do is create a content tile and place it in the middle, and then you can use the CSS sprites. You can keep an IMG, the image tag, use the CSS3 techniques to say, okay, I want the image to be having left, right, all those things. Vijesh Purbia, you're asking for, is this RadTileList available with the latest Q2? Absolutely. This is available from Q2 only, not in Q1. You're asking for, somebody is asking, can we use more than 2 images in a tile? It depends, right? If you are using image tile, the image tile will take only 1 image. So that's what you see here as documentation. That's a complete image, 310 by 150 pixels. You cannot even place the text. But what you see here is the Telerik blocks, ASP.NET AJAX team here. What it is doing is it's doing an image and text tile. So the image is 310 by 105. The text takes 45. You can see like the text itself has a icon. So this is how you can play around with that. Yes, Kumar, you are asking for, can we use any type of image format? Absolutely. This is just the PNG or JPEG or whatever you need. Ishwar Karki, I still don't understand the question. Can we place image over one another more than 2? I'm not following what exactly you mean by that. As I said, this is a content, so you can do the CSS styling the way you want. You want to place 2 images next to each other as a content? Yes, you can do that. Somebody is asking a good question. Is it responsive? As you saw, let me go ahead and then try to resize this. You will see, like, we automatically give you the scroll bar because we know, we are not able, we cannot show you everything. As you can see here, I am giving you complete, the scroll bar. It knows what is the available width that it can take, and then it automatically will give you. But if you're asking for, does it go ahead and then create it as a columns to rows? No, that is something that we would have to basically it will go ahead and then put it as one column here. If you see here, it puts a 1 column. You can still go through. You can click on that. It will take you to another page. You can do all those things. So see here, if I click on that, it goes to some other page. This is a good question. can this list hold some videos or other controls, or we can use only text or image? See, as I said, I think you guys are getting confused. Don't get confused. Basically, we support this many types. Okay, let me bring back my tile things. So if you look at the type that we support, yeah, these are the tiles that we support, content template tiles. So what you can do is you can just place a image tag, HTML5 image, the video tag, but you would need to make sure you kind of have the width and height set to 310 and 105 pixel, because in a content there is a title in the bottom, so it will take around 145 pixel. So you should kind of play around with the CSS width and height, and then yes, you can place the video tag, because if it is a HTML5 browser, it can show the video tag. If you're doing an object embed, you can do that. If you want to embed a YouTube, yes, you can do that. Somebody is asking for, do we need a specific sequence in terms of rows and columns? For example, if I have a mix of wide and square tiles not arranged properly, then presentation will look ugly. Of course, that's something, Himanshu, you have to take care, like, how you want to place it. For example, in my case, I've used all the white tiles. If I go ahead and then, let's say, let me refresh this, and I'll go ahead and then make somebody, let's say I'm going to make ASP.NET forums a square one instead of the wide. So let's see what happens. So I just made the last tile to be a square instead of wide. So let's see when it refreshes. Yeah, there you go. So this is how it looks. So it's all with the UX. You pretty much have to take a look at what you need to do. Let's say I go and then make one more guy square. They both will sit together. So like that. So you have to you need a UX guy who can actually tell you how it needs to be. So can you see that? Now both of the square tiles went up, when they went into the second row. So that's how it is. Rajesh Kumar is asking, can we create a link on image to redirect to another page? Yeah, basically that's what I've done. What you see in this first tile, which says community spotlight, if I click on that, it is taking me to spotlight.aspx. So that's done using the code where you actually let the tile redirect you to another URL. So I'll show you that. So this is what it is. So you have this property called navigate URL, and you just set it on the tile. Clicking a tile, it just navigates there. Prakash Patil, you're asking, instead of the image, can I bind the data which is dynamically coming from service? Yes, you can do that. What I'm trying to tell you guys is this is a declarative way of doing things. We also have programmatic way of doing things. You can just create this rad list here, and then page load. You can actually go read a data, kind of get a series of whatever that you need to show as this, and then just keep adding the tile, the different tiles to this group. So you just have to create groups, tile group, and then different tiles that you need, and then just keep adding it, and then say render, and then it's going to render. Mohit Gupta, you're asking for, are there any hands-on labs or any learning resources available to practice? Well, I cannot see any better resource than our demos. The whole source code is available here. What you can see here is, like, I'm showing you this particular example where we are showing an online food store. You right click on one tile that gets selected, and then I read this here. So if you look at this, default.aspx is here, default.aspx code is here, the script that is used for this is here, the style sheet that is used for this is here. Everything is here. Not only that, we also have the documentation. You just have to go to telerik.com/help. It will lead you to ASP.NET AJAX, and then here is the complete documentation of this. Again, Vijesh, you're asking for, can I put something charge? Yes, you would have to use the content template and then place any content there. And then, of course, mind you, the width that you have is only 105 pixels. So I don't see how you can bring in a huge graph. It has to be very small, minimal graph that would have to be kept here. Jayesh, you are asking for, can I resize the tile from white to square on client side? Basically, we have, let me show you this. So we have client side programming available. We have this tile object. So you can, from the client side, what you can do is you can grab the tile object, and then, if you see here, we provide you pretty much everything that you want to do here, like, remove selected, set name, set peak close, set selected, all show the peak template, toggle selection, all those. Pretty much we give you all those things. So there's a huge, rich set of client-side API. So pretty much we support everything that you need to know. So we also have the client-side event, like, on client tile clicking, all those things are there. Currently, there's a question how to arrange tiles based on device, for example, from desktop to Windows Phone. Yeah, there is what you would need to do is, that's what I showed you here. We have only this much handling, meaning when, let's say, I'm mimicking a screen size which is that of a phone. So what we do is we just do this much. You see this. We will give you a scroll bar like this, because that's what the whole philosophy of tile is. It's a fluid. It's kind of keeps flowing. We cannot rearrange. So there is another ways you can do it. You should actually say how much rows, columns that you want this to be exposed. Basically, so we have this concept of the number of columns that you need, all those things. So you would have to pretty much do something on that. So if you see here, how many rows should it have? The tile rows. So we have that. So what you can do is you can pretty much do some mathematics and then check if if you have 10 tiles, which is coming in 2 rows on a desktop, but when you go to, let's say, phone, maybe you would have to write some code which looks at, okay, where am I in browser, what is the height available, okay, now tile rows is 10. So then what they will do is, for example, if I come back here and then just say tile rows 10, so you will see that it's gonna stack one below the other. That's what I said. So I said 10, so it's gonna go create 10 rows and then keep stacking one another, and then so that's all you can do. The width, of course, the width will determine if it can do 2 stacking or not. So it's 4:08 by my watch. If you guys are okay, we'll be here for maybe a couple of more minutes. Please go ahead, log all your questions. As I said, I cannot answer everything in this one. So what I will do is I'll go back, talk to my team. If something that I cannot answer here from the questions, I'll ask their help. And then we will be putting all your questions in our blog post that I'm going to be writing. So please go ahead and then start writing putting the questions in the Q&A panel. Mohit Gupta, you're asking what is the API. It's not an API, rather it's a control suite or a development tool set. So it's known as RadControls for ASP.NET AJAX from Telerik. So all you need to do is go to telerik.com. And if you go to telerik.com, you will see product categories. So there is a product known as ASP.NET AJAX. So if you download these controls are available as a free of trial. So once you download, we put a project template. We put a Visual Studio extension. So all you need to do is file, new project, and then you'll see Telerik coming in the installed templates. Select web, and then you have C# or a VB RadControls web application. This is a web application that I created, and then you can use all our tools. So current version where the RadTileList is available is 2013 Q2. So if you go to our site now and then download, you will get 2013 Q2, which contains this RadTileList. Yeah, this will work in all the browsers because there's nothing much that we are doing as a browser specific thing. Now I was just using Chrome, but I can go to IE and then run this again. Rearrangement of controls in group will affect event handles of. Now how will it affect? We know that it's particular mouse over whatever is tied to that, so we kind of maintain all those things. All you need to do is just enable rearranging if you want, and then it will still work. So where's my, yeah, so here it is. So I can come back to IE. Mind you, I'm running IE 11 on Windows 7, so we'll see how it works. If IE becomes responsive, yes it is. There you go. So it's pretty much similar. So let me go ahead and then remove the tile rows that I had put up. So I will just, so as you can see, between the IE and the what do you call the Chrome, you don't see any difference at all. So that means like we are running in two different varieties of browsers, and they still look the same. Yeah, I mean, those of you who want to, kind of leave for your work or anything, thank you very much for attending this. I hope your 1 hour was well spent. It was worth it. We just wanted to let you know, like, what are the new cool things that we have. So that was the idea of this particular webinar. So thank you very much. This blog post will be available on next week. The webinar will be recorded. Mohit Gupta, you're asking for how can we get notification for any future sessions. Abhishek, are you online? Well, you can just write back to us, and then we'll be able to, kind of send you a mailer to you. We usually send. Actually, whoever has attended this webinar, you'll kind of get a email for next, whatever webinars we have. So email. Here is my coordinates. So this is my coordinate. So if anybody wants to keep a note of this. Some of you are saying thanks for the presentation. It was good stuff. So thank you very much. As I said, we hope you get to learn something new. That's our motto here. And then we want to show you what cool things we build, and then how awesome we build. So that's pretty much what our idea is. So I'm going to be opening up. I'm going to keep the webinar open for next 2 more minutes. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then basically I will collate all the questions and then come back on the blog post. I'll put everything there. So thank you very much for each one of you who have attended this session. We are 10 minutes overboard, so thank you very much for staying back and asking all the questions. I hope I have answered a couple of them, and the rest of them I'll take it in the blog post. So thank you very much. I believe tomorrow is a holiday, so have a great and happy weekend. Thank you very much.